Friends, and we also are one mind.
Same talk.
Same talk. Same talk. We don't check with each other beforehand. But exactly, it is the same talk. Harvest what matters. Because at first I thought I was going to be talking about, finding the good in the bad and finding the diamond in the rough and all that kind of thing. And then I thought, no, that's not what I really want to talk about. Because for me, harvesting what matters is not about what I take away from life, it's what I bring to life. It's what I take from within, the ripeness of my own spiritual and personal journey, and bring to the experiences that I am having in the moment. So we're very much the same mind here. So I did the same thing you did. I looked at what matters to me. What are the things that matter to me? And, what I know is that being grateful matters to me. The idea that we can appreciate and acknowledge whatever is around us all the time, be with the isness of our experience in the present moment, the now moment. That matters to me, to have the capacity to live that. It matters to me to be a center of harmony, to bring that into everything that I do and into every experience that I have. It matters to me to be honest, to tell the truth, to see the truth. It matters to me to be kind, to be gentle, to be soft in my experiences. It matters to me to honor others, to honor other people where they are, not where I'd like them to be or where I expect them to be, but where they are in the moment. To respect people, to respect experiences, to care, to have compassion, Mary Ann's word, to be a center of love no matter what, to not only see but to bring forth beauty, whether it's through words, whether it's through experience, food, whatever it is. To bring beauty is very important to me. Family is important to me. My spiritual community is important to me. My spiritual partnerships are very important to me. These are the things that I'm committed to. What we're committed to is what matters to us. So ask yourself, what are you committed to? Where do you place your attention? Where is your allegiance? I recently had an experience, and according to my list of what matters to me, we've often talked about the idea, the invitation, that when you're involved in an experience, keep your mouth shut unless what you have to say is true, necessary, and kind. Now, I had an experience. What I had to say was very true. But as I stepped back from the experience and really looked at what matters to me, had I actually let what I was thinking, and I'm still working on that part, by the way. Mindful speech starts in the head, right? And with our thoughts. Through grace, I'm able to filter a lot of what comes out, not always what goes on inside the head. But through grace, I was able to say, no, you know what? It is true, and I could say it, and it would just be very true. But it might be harmful, might not be kind, and you know what? Maybe it's just not necessary to go there with this. So the fruit of the Spirit, those of you who are from a Christian tradition have heard a lot about the fruit of the Spirit, this virtue that we bring forth, that we cultivate. You see, the fruit of my spirit said, no, you need to bring kindness, you see, to this experience. And it's just not necessary for you to say what's, going on in your mind. This idea that, we can make a choice, like Linda said, we choose who we serve. And if we choose to serve the highest part of ourselves, the part that Glenda was talking, that loving presence within ourselves, if we choose to serve that, we're going to be in a whole lot better place. This conscious awareness about who we are, about how we want to be in the world. And when we're aware of that, it's easier for us to identify what matters, so that when we're in these choice places, we don't necessarily have to bring forth the bare truth. We can step back and say, is it necessary this time? So what I know about living this examined life and being clear about what matters to us so that we can bring forth the harvest of our own practice, the richness, the ripeness of whatever we're ready to bring forth to our experiences. What I know about that is we're like this needle in a haystack. Sometimes we're called to bring forth what matters to us, even if it's a difficult situation. We're called to bring forth whatever really matters to us right in the middle of something pretty darn icky. Something that doesn't feel good, something that's not going the way we want. So we're called to bring forth what matters to us regardless of what's being offered out there, regardless of what's going to be returned to us in the moment. All we have to do is our part. All we have to do is bring forward our energy into the experience. If you're a program person, you'll resonate with the idea that all we got to do is keep our side of the street clean. We just have to worry about bringing forth our own energy, our own beauty, our own radiance, those things that matter to us. Because what I know about the world is we are all in a human condition, and it's complex, and it's a material world, and we're involved in relationships and experiences, and sometimes when we look at the way that is out picturing, it just doesn't feel very good. It doesn't meet our expectations. You know, we get into our relationships and we truly do feel, you know what? There's not enough love in this relationship for me. There's not enough honor. I'm not getting enough respect from people. You know, I'm whatever. I'm not getting what I want out of it. And that can have an influence on what I'm willing to bring to the experience. But when I know what really matters to me, whether somebody loves me back or not, if I know that what matters to me is to bring love to that experience, to bring kindness to that experience, to bring politeness to that experience, to bring gentleness and harmony to that experience, it doesn't really matter what is going on out there. And that, folks, is a huge practice. That's a huge spiritual practice, because most of us want it reciprocated. Isn't that the truth? We want to harvest it right back. And my invitation is we take it out. We take it out no matter what, regardless of what's going to come back, regardless of the situation, regardless of how unattractive the experience might look to us. Because sometimes life just doesn't measure up. Sometimes it does, and those are times of grace. But sometimes life doesn't measure up to our expectations. Isn't that true? People disappoint us. We get frustrated. Elections don't turn out the way we want them to. We've all got an opportunity in the next couple of days to bring forth what really matters to us. It's going to be interesting. Whatever. See, the thing is, because things don't always measure up to our expectations, and because we've all, got a certain way that we want to have our version of life, the way this is my story and I'm sticking to it, and anything that doesn't fit there is, doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good. What I know about that is that no matter what, something's always going to shift. Look at our party. We have a big plan. We were going to get dressed up in our fancy clothes and go show up at the door of a commercial venue for our 8th anniversary party and bring our radiance to that. See? Because spiritual community matters, because harmony matters, because honesty matters, because all these things matter to both of us, because love matters, we made a decision. It didn't fit our, expectation at all. We made a decision to choose again and shift into a new way of being with an experience and bring the qualities of our beingness to that. Is it going to look very, very different? Oh, you bet. It's going to look very different than it would have looked in a commercial setting. But it's going to be awesome because we're going to bring what matters to us to that. Does that make sense? And we get the invitation constantly with our life experiences, whatever it is, to shift in that way. I know one of you was recently talking about the idea that expecting 4 people for dinner and it turned into 8. And, you know, having to make an on-the-fly shift, run to the store, get more food, because it matters to be hospitable. It matters to feed other people well. It matters to be generous with what you've got. It matters to create a place of harmony and love and welcome and comfort for people that you care about. So you shift on the fly. That's what we do. And we bring ourselves to that. And like most things, sometimes our reaper, the part of us that knows how to reap what we've worked on, our virtues, our fruits of spirit, sometimes our reaper gets broken. And we forget and we don't bring what matters to us to an experience. Have you had that happen? We don't bring our very best self to these experiences. That's okay. That's okay too. Because what that does is it allows us to be human, and to remember that we can forgive ourselves and give ourselves permission to do it again, to have a do-over. And guess what? If it matters to us that we can forgive ourselves, guess what? It matters to us that we can forgive others, you see. So no matter how it shows up, we can always bring one of these qualities that we are to the experience if we know what matters. Have to look beyond what we expect to happen to the reality of what's happening, and then just be with that. Just be with that. With the isness, you see. Because just like we talked in our Eckhart Tolle class on Friday, you know, some things just are. Matter of fact, most things just are. They are the way they are. And in an hour, they're going to be the way they are then. But right now, they're the way they are. And if we're pushing against the isness of the experience in the moment, we're going to, A, miss the opportunity to bring forth our gift, whatever that is, even if it doesn't meet our expectations, you see. That's what the isness and responding to the isness in the now moment is all about. I am going to close my part of the talk with a little story, because this idea of finding the needle in a haystack and being able to bring the qualities of our own journey, our own awareness to our experiences, bring the qualities that really matter to us to that. This little story talks about that. I forgot to mention one of the qualities that really matters to me is the quality of trust. Being able to trust that whatever it is, it's all God. I'm pretty strong in that quality. If I weren't strong in that quality, we'd be in trouble here at Common Ground. Trusting, and my family, I just trust, no matter what it looks like, that it's okay. That's what it is. So the rabbi was what, this is from Alan Moranis' book, Everyday Holiness. It's about the Jewish spiritual path of what is called Musar. And this is the story. A rabbi was walking down the road accompanied by a rooster, a donkey, and a lamb. He came to an inn, but he was turned away because there wasn't a room. When that happened, he said, whatever the all-merciful does, he does for good. You see, he's got this basic trust. So he went with his rooster, the donkey, and the lamb, and he spent the night in an open field. A big wind came up and put out the lamp. A weasel came and ate the rooster. A lion came and ate the donkey. He said, whatever the all-merciful does, he does for good. That night, a troop of bandits came to town and captured every person. The rabbi was spared. He was not discovered in the open field because the rooster couldn't crow, the donkey couldn't bray, and the lamp did not glow. The rabbi said, did I not tell you, whatever the all-merciful does, he does for good. He brought his basic sense of trust and his reliance on the energy of the divine to that experience, so at every step of the way, the trust was the thing that got him through. that needle in a haystack. Sometimes it's hard to see because things, we've all got our donkey and the weasel story, don't we? We've all got that stuff going on in one way or another. So the thing is, there's some obstacles to remembering what matters to us. I'll give you 3 obstacles. We get too absorbed in the drama. We get too absorbed in the problem. Too absorbed in whatever the icky stuff is that's taking our attention away from what matters to us. We get too wrapped up in the problem, and we forget what really matters to us in the experience. Sometimes we take things for granted. We overlook the experience in a way that doesn't allow us to bring our very best selves. And sometimes we are just focusing way too much on the icky part, like those of us who will have an opportunity to, on Tuesday when this election mess is done, those of us that are still focused on our candidate that may or may not have won, if we can't move beyond that and look at the gift of life in general and find the meaning and the heart in that, we're going to be paralyzed for 4 years. We've got to bring the qualities that matter to us, acceptance, whatever that looks like, to that, because if we stay focused on the icky stuff, if we're too wound up in the drama and the problem of what's going on, and if we're not looking at the picture in a big enough way, and we're overlooking or taking things for granted, then we are not going to be able to bring forth our best self. So this is the invitation. Take time, like Glenda's invitation, take time to sit down and identify what matters to you. What qualities of being do you want to bring to life? Do you want to bring to your experiences, your relationships, your way of being in the world? Take time to figure out what those things are, where you're willing to place your attention and what you're committed to. What you're committed to is going to have a lot to do with the way your life outpictures. And then celebrate the isness of this moment, the good enoughness of it, the isness of it, and bring yourself to that. Thank you for listening this morning. So we've come to a time for